Hello, everyone. JDev of the JDev Entertainment Network has returned once again to give you exactly what you want, which of course would be more of me, and that's really all you need. Giving you guys and gals another fun random video here on YouTube. So, I was recommending a few titles to a few people randomly, and one particular person I had recommended a title to said, yeah, I watched about 10 minutes of it, and then I had to turn it off, and that got me thinking, you know what? I miss the days of Blockbuster Video. Now, technically, Blockbuster Video is still around. There's one location left in Bend, Oregon, but that's it. But we are so spoiled this day and age because, we have Netflix, we have Hulu. Well, I don't have Hulu, but I have Netflix. And, you got millions of movies to choose from, and you could do that. You can watch 5 or 10 minutes of a movie and turn it off and go to the next. Well, back in the day when you used to rent from Blockbuster Video, you would rent, 1 to 5 movies, depending on how many movies you wanted to watch at any given time. And you watched all those movies because you paid for the rentals, $3 to $5 per rental. But now we pay, 10 to $20 a month for Netflix, and we watch 5 minutes of a movie and move on to the next all the time. And people do that all the time. I'm guilty of it myself, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I'm not done with by any means, but I watched like 7 minutes of it and just randomly fell asleep and haven't went back to it. Now, 3 weeks later, I'm still waiting to put that back on again. But I just remember those days. Those were fun times. If you guys didn't know or not, I used to work for Blockbuster Video, as a lot of us did, in the years 1999 to 2001. So 3 years, had fun times, made a few really good friends at Blockbuster to this day that I'm still friends with. In fact, very close friends with. And it was a fun time. You rented videos, you got recommendations, not an algorithm that tells you what to watch on Netflix just because, you watch Walking Dead on Netflix and it recommends that you watch Z Nation. Well, they're both zombie shows, but Walking Dead is a serious, well-developed, well-written, well, most of the time well-written show that they put a lot of work into, where Z Nation is basically a comedy. It's the zombie apocalypse comedy style, where they have like zombie tornadoes and zombie things. Of course, Fear the Walking Dead is kind of like that. So I can see if you were watching Fear the Walking Dead and it recommended you Z Nation. But to watch The Walking Dead and get recommended Z Nation, that algorithm needs some work. Now, I was a fan of Z Nation. I watched almost every episode until the last season where I just got disinterested in the first show and now it's off the air. But, I mean, it's nowhere near the quality that The Walking Dead is. And that's where we need things like Blockbuster. When you go into a place and you get a person telling you what to watch. I remember I had a customer when I worked at Blockbuster that a few of them actually would just ask me what to rent because they liked my taste in movies. Granted, it wasn't like it is now. I liked my certain movies and that was it. Now I have a much more wide variety of titles that I used to watch. Unlike the days when I worked at Blockbuster, but it's unfortunate that we don't have that anymore. I mean, there's still video stores around, but hardly anybody goes to video stores anymore. I haven't been to a video. The last time I was at a video store was back in 2001 when I went to Blockbuster for the last time in the state that I'm in. Not the one that I worked for, although I did work there one night, but I rented the movie Zoolander and never watched it and returned it right away. I don't remember the circumstances behind it, but it was back in 2001, and that was the last movie that I had rented. So I do miss Blockbuster. It was a fun time. They had lots of fun and exciting moments in my life happened at Blockbuster. Of course, I'm not going to lie to you guys. There was some frustration involved with working at Blockbuster. Those were the days, from 99 to 2001 when they had late fees, and people would come in and complain about their late fees and blame me for their life problems and that, and I'd get annoyed with hearing about it from almost every single customer that had a late fee at Blockbuster Video. It was really annoying. And, it made me go a little, I couldn't tolerate people as much as I could. It was very frustrating to hear that all day long and people flipping out. I remember back in March of 99 when The Sixth Sense came out on VHS was the more popular thing at that point in time, that I had a customer that was waiting for a copy of it to come in. Obviously, she had a slip, guaranteed in stock or it's free, but the movie was out. And then one of the customer service representatives, Steve, we'll call him, and that was his name, Steve, was keeping copies of The Sixth Sense for some reason at his terminal when they should have been, when you're checking in the movies, they should have get right on the the row of where all the movies are that we would take back to the shelves. But he would keep a couple copies. So I told the lady that there wasn't any copies in. And then he's helping out this couple, and he's like, I've got one right here for you. Well, the customer that I was dealing with, her name was Estella, was irate that she wasn't able to get a copy of the movie. And they actually started fighting inside the Blockbuster. And then the manager on duty, who was at this point very worn out as a manager, he actually was a store manager, and then he demoted himself to a regular manager. Honestly, he shouldn't have been a manager at this point. I like the guy, but he couldn't handle it. He literally just like walked away and like went back in the office and slammed the door. So me being there, I was actually, my whole time at Blockbuster, I was just a regular customer service representative. I handled the situation with flying colors, told the other employee, what the hell are you doing saving those copies at your terminal? Put them on the shelf. Get rid of them. Let the customers, whoever gets it first. Don't reserve movies for people. But it was just fun times at Blockbuster Video. Nothing bad happened. Eventually they stopped. We got another copy of The Sixth Sense in, so they stopped bickering back and forth. So it didn't get crazy. It didn't get into a big, crazy situation. But it was on a Saturday around 6 p.m., and it was time for me to go home. So I had to stay like an extra half an hour dealing with all that stuff. But it was just a fun story. And I remember a lot of fun stories at Blockbuster. I remember back in 2000, I was prepping the movies that came in on Monday, and we got like a screener box and poster, and I opened the screener box. It was Scream 4, or no, sorry, not Scream 4, Scream 3, which I was a big fan of the Scream movies and still am to this day. I was really excited that I had the demo screener for Scream 3 and the poster for Scream 3, so that made me happy, and I still have the screener for Scream 3 to this day, as well as a Blu-ray, a DVD, and a couple of VHS copies of it as well, because that's the series I really liked. Not my favorite movies of all time, but definitely Scream 2 is definitely one of them, and the series itself is, if I had to base on top 10 series of all time, that would probably be number one. I'd have to think about it, though, but then you got to include Marvel movies, and I don't know. Let's save that for another video, but I miss my time at Blockbuster. I miss the fun and excitement. I miss the recommendations that I would give to people, and it's just reflecting on that. I haven't done that for a long time. I influenced a lot of people on what videos to rent at that time, and then of course, Blockbuster became, they didn't get the streaming service that they hoped. They didn't, or it wasn't really streaming a lot. It was more of a Redbox sort of thing. So Blockbuster started the Redbox sort of thing with their movie kiosks that they had, and it didn't work. And then Redbox purchased a lot of the Blockbuster movie kiosks, I guess what you'd call them, or something like that. So I don't know how much more I can talk about Blockbuster in this video, but I tell you what, if you want to hear more stories about Blockbuster, why don't you go ahead and leave it in the comments section. Make sure you like the video. You can share it or favorite it if you'd like, but subscribe to the channel because that helps. And make sure you get notifications or alerts. But if there's anything else that you want me to share, Blockbuster video-wise stories, or anything you want me to talk about, I mean, it's been a long time, so I think we're good to go with anything here. I would gladly take any suggestions, but at this point, I just want to talk about Blockbuster, with the algorithms that Netflix gives you for movie recommendations or TV show recommendations. When you watch The Walking Dead and it gives you a recommendation of Z Nation, which is the quality of Z Nation is so much lower than The Walking Dead, even though The Walking Dead hasn't been as good. Well, at least season 8 wasn't as good. It's just crazy. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Again, make sure you comment, make sure you like, share it, favorite it, subscribe to the channel, and of course, JDev of the JDev Entertainment Network will be back again soon with another and maybe another Blockbuster video. Peace.